All right, guys. Well, I'm here to talk to you about the Natural Reader program that I have discovered, myself being Ivan. So I will try to keep this concise. My first attempt to do this came up to about 15 minutes, so I'm going to do the speed reader version. This particular program actually has a lot of uses. Just a quick recap on some of those. It has text to speech capabilities. It's actually good for reading textbooks, homeworks, regular books. It's good at converting text into spoken word and also stores them, or has the ability to store them as MP3s to listen to on your phone or on your computer or what have you on your device. It also has the ability to proofread essays and homework while looking for grammar mistakes and what have you, which is actually quite helpful. It's good at converting printed text, like previously printed text, like taking and digitally scanning them and turning that text into something that is editable, and then translating that into speech, which can then again be conformed into an MP3 format. It has plugins that you can use for Chrome, so when you go to websites, you can actually have it read the website to you. And it also offers synthesized voices for different accents and even a few different languages. As you can see on this little chart here, we have only two of these particular features come with the free version. There are numerous other features, like I mentioned, taking an image of a text, whether it's from a textbook or from like a PDF ripped off the internet, and it can take that text and break it down into editable text and then read that speech to you. It has the ability to modify pronunciations of words. It has the ability to store PDFs. Again, translating into MP3s. The only two that are actually legitimately on the free part is the text to speech, which is a really base function. It's kind of core to the whole thing, and then also being able to work with various document types, so like PDFs, DocX, and text documents. Everything else is a special package you'd need to purchase, and there are many package options. But those first two, they definitely are part of the free version. There are limitations. Let's say you wanted to have your device read you a certain section of text. It can do that. It doesn't have to read from the beginning to the end, but it reads in chunks. So the program actually looks for either like a portion of a sentence or a whole sentence, depending on how long the sentence is, and it chunks it, and then it'll read you that chunk before moving on to the next chunk. It does it smoothly, so that's also a bonus, but you'd need to start at the beginning of a chunk instead of having it just reading perhaps one word or two words together. It has to read the whole chunk in order for you to have that word or words read to you. The free version doesn't have all of the features. Obviously, that's kind of a limitation, like the MP3 bit. You have to have an account in order to work with the thing, and also you do need access to the internet. Without access to the internet, you won't be able to use its functions. There are several plans available. Obviously, we mentioned the free plan has the first two, the support of the different types of documents and the text-to-speech bit. The possible packages, you can choose different combos of features that you would like or that you would like to not have. But the range of those packages goes anywhere from basically $100 to $200. Now, granted, that is a one-time fee, so once you pay for it, you have access going forward, period. But it is one of those things where you need to make sure that you know exactly which functions this app can offer you, which ones are the ones that you'll be needing going forward. So you kind of want to pick and choose carefully without having to, purchase additional packages or upgrades to get more features. There is an EDU version of this as well as a commercial plan. It's got the free trial, but it goes to $79 a year. The EDU one is not available online for regular people to access. You have to go through your school. Once the school has access, they will be the ones that grant it to the student. So as to kind of flesh out people who may or may not be lying about going to a certain institution. Lastly, here there's a little quote about how for those who are struggling with COVID-19, the EDU version of this plan was made free to students who had educational institutions shut down, closed due to COVID-19. So they are trying to work with their consumer base, which is actually quite a lovely gesture. Here's a couple scenarios. One for the free version, what a student could do. One is a paid version. I went into these in my first version a little more in depth. I'm going to not do that this time. The gist is, again, it's useful. The free version has its uses. You could use this to have the text-to-speech. So if you, as a student or a child, types up a document and they want another student to have them help edit it, and maybe that student has a reading issue, like a reading disability, be it dyslexia or something of that nature, they could use this document, use this program to read the document to that student, and they can still do the editing, and they can still, again, supporting the PDFs and what have you. Obviously, the paid version would open up a lot more avenues for that student to use editing features and what have you, but the free version, again, it's not useless, it's just a bit limited. So for the demo, let's go. I'm going to jump over here. As you can see, I have a little demo document that is stored here. Still up from before. It's really easy. If you have a document, all you have to do is you grab the PDF, you drag and drop it into the screen, and it loads it for you, and it gives you the options for reading. As you can see, like I go and I highlight over areas, it's just showing me what chunks have been broken down by the program. So if I clicked it, I can read the chunk. Hitting play just causes it to start reading. There are different speeds. When I was playing with it before, for the demonstration, I showed a lot of those different speeds. For now, we'll just stick with 0. For the free version, there's free, premium, and then there's the plus version. Depending on which version you get, the voices are a little less blocky if you pay for it. The free ones, Alex sounds like, and Victoria, I believe, they both sound very similar to like Siri or something that you might get from your phone. Fred sounds like an older model of translation, but again, these are all US English. They have UK English, they have Spanish, Canadian. Again, they have some language translation. I found it to be a little limited in that it translates directly word for word. So if it saw the word education, it would translate it into education in that other language, but it doesn't necessarily readjust the entirety of the sentence, translating it exactly by scrambling the words around and having the proper, proper placement for those words in the translated version. It kind of reads them and translates the words one by one if possible. So again, it's limited. It can be useful for a multilingual student who maybe struggles with English as a base language. Having some of these larger words translated directly could be very useful. So here's the demonstration. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to leave it to Alex, regular speed. I'm just going to have it start reading right here.
Education is the most essential ingredient in the development and empowerment of individuals.
All right, so I clicked the chunk, so it read the chunk. If I just clicked play in general,
education is the most essential ingredient in the development and empowerment of individuals, and inclusion in education irrespective of the varied socioeconomic differences and the differences in abilities and disabilities. Bra Isner, 2003.
Now, just again, I'll show a slowed down version. With this particular free version, it makes Alex sound like he's had a couple of drinks.
Undoubtedly makes this foundation much stronger.
He slurs quite a bit. If we wanted to speed him up, we can I'll throw him up to a 4 and show you the speed.
Undoubtedly makes this foundation much stronger. Ahmad, 2014. A school system emphasizing education for all should ensure the right of all children to a meaningful education based on individual.
All right, so I think you get the gist. It's very useful. Like I said, it breaks down the document. There's lots of tools you can use here to explore this. I'm going to move along. Over here, we have a website that we went to. I have the thing already set up here, so if I just click the N, it'll start reading for me as soon as it loads. I hit play.
Using technology to empower students with special needs. Learn how one educator uses G Suite for Education to help students overcome their negative self-images and embrace learning. One of the biggest problems I encounter is...
And it goes on and on. That said, for the demo, I am done with that. Evaluation purposes, again, the strengths, there's the free version. It can read at different speeds and use different texts or text speeches. Text-to-speeches. The plugins are really nice for Chrome to be able to look at different websites and have them read to you. Weaknesses, obviously, you have to pay for things like the MP3 storage and other features. The free voices are a bit monotone, and you definitely still do need a login and internet access. Would I use it personally? In my classroom, I'd say no, unless I had a student who had a need for it. For everyday usage, I'm sure that there are other tools that I could use that would be potentially integrated into other applications and what have you. But should a student with special needs who has something like dyslexia or has other struggles that this website could benefit, I might use it for their benefit or suggest it at least for their benefit. But again, as far as a whole classroom tool, I don't know that I would necessarily use it in that regard. And with that,